Cabbage carbonara. Is he mad? I think he's gone mad. I've taken two of my favorite things of all time, cabbages and carbonara. Et voila, the cabbage carbonara is born. I'm gonna show you how to turn the humble cabbage into the main character. Also gonna show you how to make pretty classic carbonara sauce, which is a fantastic technique to have in your repertoire. This is the Waitrose series where we take a really simple, humble ingredient and turn it into an incredible dinner. Today, it's all about the cabbage. Probably my favorite vegetable. You can have it raw, shredded in coleslaws. You can pickle it. People ferment it into delicious kimchis and sauerkraut. You can saute it, just boil it plain. I really like to cut it in wedges and get some color on it. I can't think of a single way you can't eat a cabbage, to be honest. And did you know, source of vitamin C? Who knew? So today, I'm gonna show you how to lose Italian friends and alienate people. You wanna start with some sort of smoked bacon. Save all the fat, it's the secret ingredient. And it's not a carbonara without Parmigiana Reggiana. Say that 3 times fast. And it's not a cabbage carbonara without a cabbage. Black pepper, so important in a carbonara. Let's chop things up and make them hot. That's cooking. So, nice big frying pan, olive oil, just to help it get started. Don't need to preheat the pan loads because we want the fat in the pancetta to actually render a bit. That's gonna help with the sauce and bags of flavor. A punnet of bacon, very nice. I don't wanna mess around with it too much. I really want it to develop a nice kind of crispy, deep golden brown, and again, render all that fat out. While that's working, I'm gonna prep my cabbage. What a beauty, hey? Take off a couple of the outer leaves, 3 or 4, something like that. Let the cabbage talk to you. That told me it only wanted 3 leaves off, so I've taken 3 leaves off. This cabbage gets into quarters. Really important, keep the root on and intact. The way we're gonna cook it, that's gonna get nice and fudgy. It's gonna hold the cabbage together. Straight down the middle, and then each half in half again, so you've got these lovely, lovely wedges. Keep the flat side onto the board so it's really nice and safe. Beautiful. My leaves, what I like to do is roll them up like a cigar, and then nice and tight. This style of shopping is called chiffonade. Don't know why I sound so fancy and silly. And this becomes the real vehicle for the sauce. This is kind of in lieu of pasta. I wonder if that's gonna appease or upset more people than not. So pancetta looks ready, it's super crispy. You wanna keep as much fat in the pan as possible. Push it to one side, let that fat drain away for a moment. My kingdom for a slotted spoon. We can do it, we can do it. Oh, hello, you look nice. That pancetta fat is exactly what we want. We're gonna brown the cabbage in that, and it's gonna make so much flavor. Flavor you can't buy. Well, actually you can buy it from your nearest Waitrose. Beautiful. So next stage, it's all about getting a delicious burnish on these cabbage wedges. So they're gonna go in flat side down. Can I actually put the cabbage in the pan?
Yes, you can.
Watch your fingies. I like to go top and tail, no reason, it's just cute. And then the lid goes on, and that's just gonna create the perfect habitat for the cabbage to do what it needs to do, which is get all fried and fatty, and also steam. Heaven. Sounds like a really nice way to go, actually, doesn't it? This base idea of cooking the cabbage in this way, ignore the carbonara for a moment, okay? Just absolutely scrap that for a second. This way of cooking wedges of cabbage is fantastic. I do this just kind of plain with some nice butter or anchovies, pickled chilies, a bit of gochujang through there, chili oil. The world is your cabbage. Because it's round, but I'm gonna turn it into a carbonara and upset loads of people, so. I'm gonna have a little peekity peek. It will have made quite a lot of steam, and it's really loud. That is a loud cabbage. Tongs are your friend. I'm a big tongue guy. That's pretty lovely looking, right? Getting a bit of color on that cabbage really wakes it up and it really tastes more of itself, which is fantastic. Flip it on the other side to get exactly the same color. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Back to bed with you. Okay, eggs. This should be just about enough. 2 eggs cracked in. Classically a carbonara sauce, equal parts pecorino and Parmigiana Reggiana, but I'm feeling a little bit lazy today, so we're just going straight Parmigiana Reggiana. Exactly 60 grams. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I never weigh anything. Lots of people think that's quite a controversial move, opening Parmesan like that. It just speaks to me. Chop it up, make it hot, just get it done, you know? I've been known to make carbonaras with all sorts of cheeses, namely cheddar. And then the rest of it I'm just gonna grate and throw that over the top. You need to grate it fine so it does break down in the pan and emulsify and doesn't take too long. If you over melt and overwork a cheese in a sauce, it gets grainy. You ever had that, like a grainy cheese sauce? We've all done it, we've all done it. Bring this together. Probably not gonna season this with salt just yet. That pancetta, pretty salty. Parmigiana Reggiana, pretty salty. I'm gonna hit this with a ton of freshly ground black pepper now. I like what would be considered too much pepper in a carbonara. I love that kind of residual warmth you get in your mouth from black pepper, one of my favorite flavors. So as you can see, it's not like perfectly homogenized. It still wants to be nice and loose with the eggs because that's going to be the body of the sauce and thicken up with the heat of the pan. And there we go. Cabbage is looking lovely. We just want to give it a little test. Just that there's not much resistance with the knife. You can feel the kind of how toothsome it is as you stick your knife in it. Nice big serving plate. And that cabbage cooked like this is going to hold its heat for ages. So we're going to get it on the plate. Beautiful, beautiful wedges. Cabbage wedges are out, just resting. So the shredded cabbage, splash of water into the pan. We just want to see that bubble. Make sure there's some good reliable heat in there. That's a lovely temperature. Cabbage in as one. My pancetta goes in. We're not looking to cook the cabbage. We're just kind of waking it up. That water's mingling with the bacon fat and becoming this lovely base of the sauce. So that's enough cooking. That cabbage is so fine that that's going to be hot and happy. And then, crucially, take it off the heat. Just allow that heat just to kind of vanish before I add all those very vulnerable raw eggs, okay? Think about that. It's all about balancing the heat. We don't want to curdle the eggs. That's rule number one. Don't curdle the eggs. So it's kind of on the heat, off the heat, on the heat, off the heat, and lots of motion, okay? That's what we want. The technique I'm doing here is the same for carbonara, like classic carbonara. It's super easy to make, but it's quite easy to mess up as well. But you have to be quite intuitive about it. It's just about heat balance. Right, ready? Eggs go in. Rubber spatula is your friend here. Give it a really good mix to get it going. And then a little bit of time on the heat. And when it's on the heat, that's when it's really important to keep it working. Pretty low heat here. And just be patient, it will come together. Off the heat, you see that steam? Nearly there, probably one more little blast. At this point, if it does get a little bit thick as well, but it's still smooth, just a splash of water, okay? It's not a plate of food that's drowning in sauce, it just wants to coat things. That's looking good, can you see that? It's got that kind of Moses effect almost. Little flash of heat again. I just love constantly stirring things, don't you? Tiniest splash of water. This is a nice rule for pasta sauces. When you've got the perfect texture in the pan, as soon as you plate it, it always seizes up a little bit, okay? So I always like it 10% juicier in the pan, because then when it hits the plate, it's perfect. Lovely. So, got my tongs to strew the cabbage everywhere. I think it's a really pretty dish in a kind of chaotic way. You've got like the two elements of the cabbage. You've got that lovely, lovely scorch, and then you've got that nice verdant, not far off raw, shredded cabbage. Don't overthink plating. Just get it on the plate in a relaxed but beautiful way. Again, rubber spatula is your friend, every last bit of sauce. Look at that, back on the shelf. It's not a carbonara without Parmigiano Reggiano. Just to finish, another whack of freshly ground black pepper, cabbage carbonara. This is like a main course for two. I quite often like to plate sort of family style, but obviously it works fantastically as a side dish, you know, some roast meat or a nice big salad on the side. This would be a side for four. Some people might think this is a bit kind of naughty, silly, whatever. I don't really care. You've got cabbage, bacon, cheese, and eggs. Quite a classic combination, really. If you want to give this recipe a try, screen grab now all the ingredients that you need to cook this fantastic cabbage carbonara. Let's have a taste. Absolutely delicious, if I do say so myself. It's just got everything. It's kind of got luxury, that like little bit of heat from the pepper, the cheeky, salty bacon, but also that really kind of life-affirming, big vegetal hit from the cabbage as well. Wow, that is pretty good. For more gorgeous recipes and flavour hacks, remember to subscribe. Happy cooking. Thank you very much. Goodbye.